There are three problems that we're gonna work with. The first one is the basic. We're gonna go over some of the vocabularies. And then the second one is with the remainder, if we have a remainder, how we write it. And then the last one is with the missing term. If we're missing term, how we solve this type of problems. Let's start with the first one. This is the first problem that we're gonna solve. To solve this problem, first we're gonna rewrite the problem. We're gonna take the division sign and then we're gonna write it in form of long division sign like this. Now once we have that, we're gonna take the x plus 1 and then we're gonna put that on the left side of the division sign, and then we're gonna take the x squared plus 3x plus 2, we're gonna take that, we're gonna put inside the division sign. Now once we have that, what we are looking for is the leading term of the divisor. The divisor is the x plus 1 and the x squared plus 3x plus 2 is the dividend. And then now what we'll be looking at is these two components, x and x squared. These are the key components that we gotta be focused. If we can understand this, we'll be able to solve any type of long division problems. So the leading term of the divisor, how many times will that go to x squared? To know that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the x squared and then we're gonna divide that by x. The x is gonna come from the divisor. Once we divide, we got x. We're gonna take that x, we're gonna put on top of the division sign. Now once we have that x, now the x is part of our solution, we're gonna take this x and then we're gonna multiply with the divisor. That is will be x times x will be x squared, then x times 1 will be x, and then once we are done with multiplication, and then we have to subtract. Now if we subtract x squared minus x squared, that'll be 0, then 3x minus x will be 2x, and then we're gonna bring the next value, that is 2, and then we're gonna repeat the process. We're gonna take 2x and then we're gonna divide by x. That gives us 2. We're gonna take that 2, we're gonna put on top of the division sign. Now we're gonna multiply that 2 with the divisor. Now 2 times would be 2 times x, that will give us 2x, and then 2 times 1 will be 2, and then we gotta subtract. Now if we subtract, we got 0 and 0. Now what that means to us is that we are done. Now once we are done, I'm gonna bring the problem that we're trying to solve. This is the problem that we're trying to solve, and then I'm gonna bring down the x plus 2, and then I'm gonna put it in there, and then this is the result that we get when we divide. So what that means is that x squared plus 3x plus 2 divided by x plus 1 equals x plus 2. X plus 2 is the solution or the result. There is the name in long division, they call it quotient. That is the name they use. This is just for the vocabulary. That is all for this problem. We're gonna go to second problem. This is the second problem that we're gonna solve with the remainder. We're gonna continue with the same process. First, we're gonna rewrite the problem. We're gonna take the division sign, and then we're gonna write it in form of long division. And then we're gonna take the x minus 1, we're gonna put that on the left side of division. And then we're gonna take the x squared minus 3x plus 5, we're gonna put that inside the division sign. Now once we have that, we gotta be looking at the leading term of divisor, that is x, and then x squared is the leading term of dividing. Now, how many times would x go to x squared? To do that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the x squared and then we're gonna divide that by x, and then we got x, we're gonna take that x, we're gonna put on top of the division sign. Now we're gonna take that x and then we're gonna multiply with the divisor. So that be x times x will be x squared, then x times -1 will be negative x. Then once we're done with multiplication, and then we subtract. Now if we subtract x squared minus x squared, that be 0, then negative 3x plus x will be negative 2x, and then we're gonna bring down the next value, that is number 5, and then we're gonna repeat the process again. Then we're gonna take the negative 2x, then we're gonna divide that by x, and then we got negative 2, we're gonna take that negative 2, we're gonna put on top of the division sign. Now we're gonna take that negative 2, we're gonna multiply with the divisor, that be negative 2 times x would be negative 2x, and then negative 2 times -1 will be 2. Now we're done with multiplication, and then we gotta subtract. Then if we subtract negative 2x minus 2x, they will cancel each other out, and that will be 0. And then we have 5 minus 2 will be 3. Now 3 is the remainder here. So now when we have a remainder, the way we write it is I'm gonna bring down the, let's bring down the problem that we're trying to solve, and that is this one, and then we're gonna bring down the x minus 2, and then when we have a remainder, that is 3, we're gonna take that, we're gonna put on top of the divisor, that is x minus 1. So the solution here is x minus 2 plus 3 over x minus 1. That is our solution to this problem. When we have a remainder, this is the way we write it. That is all for this problem. We're gonna move on to the last problem. This is with the missing term. What we're missing here is the x squared. We have x to the third minus 12x minus 16, but we don't have the x squared. So we're gonna continue with the same process. First, we're gonna write a division sign, and then once we have that, we're gonna bring the x minus 4. We're gonna put that on the left side of the division sign, and then here is where things change a little bit. We're gonna take the x to the third minus 12, x minus 16, but we're gonna add the 0 x squared. So we're gonna put that inside the division sign. The only thing that I have added here is a 0 x squared. So if we are missing term, this is what we add. This is just a placeholder. This does not change any value. So that is just a placeholder that we have to put in there to solve this type of problems. Now we're gonna continue with the same process. How many times does x goes to x to the third? We're gonna take the x to the third, and then we're gonna divide that by x, and then we got x squared. We're gonna take that x squared, we're gonna put on top of the division sign. Now once we have that, we're gonna multiply with the divisor. That will be x squared times x will be x to the third. X squared times negative 4 will be negative 4x squared, and then we're gonna subtract. Now x to the third minus x to the third will be 0, and then 0x squared plus 4x squared will be 4x squared, and then we're gonna bring the next value, that is 12x. Once we have that, and then we're gonna repeat the process. We're gonna take the 4x squared, and then we're gonna divide that by x, and then we got 4x. We're gonna take that 4x, we're gonna put on top of the division sign. Now we're gonna multiply 4x times the divisor. That would be 4x times x would give us a 4x squared, and then 4x times negative 4 gives us negative 16x, and then we're gonna subtract. Once we subtract, we got 4x, and then we're gonna bring down the next value, that's negative 16, and then we gotta repeat the process. And then now we're gonna take the 4x, and then we're gonna divide that by 4, divide that by x, and that gives us 4. We're gonna take that 4, and then we're gonna put on top of the division sign once we have that, and then we gotta multiply that with that divisor. So that will be 4 times x will be 4x, and then once we subtract, we got 0. Now that means we're done with this problem. We're gonna bring down the problem that we're trying to solve. That is this one. So the result is the x squared plus 4x plus 4. Now if you are looking for what kind of method that we are using to solve this type of problems, this is the method that we are using. This is for long division of polynomials. First we divide, and then we multiply, and then subtract. If there is value, we bring down the value, and then we repeat the process. Repeating meaning we repeat the process from 1 to 4. That is all for this problem.